First contact gone wrong. High Admiral Zixbex of the Vexeri Empire stood on the bridge of the stellar dominance, his translucent tentacles rippling with anticipation as he observed the blue-green planet through the ship's quantum viewport. Earth, such a simple name for what his science division had identified as a Level 3 civilization on the brink of achieving faster-than-light travel. Status report, he commanded, his neural transmitter translating his thoughts into the standard galactic frequency. The primitive detection systems of the humans have not yet noticed our presence behind their lunar satellite. Sub-Commander Raltek reported, her crystalline form glowing with efficiency. Our cloaking technology remains superior. The Admiral's tentacles coiled tighter. This would be a standard integration procedure, demonstrate overwhelming technological superiority, demand submission, and add another species to the ever-expanding Vexeri Empire. They had done it countless times before. Begin the integration protocol, he ordered. Target their largest military installation for the demonstration. But as the targeting computers locked onto a facility in a region the humans called Nevada, something unexpected happened. A message crackled through their communication systems, bypassing encryptions that were supposed to be unbreakable. This is Dr. Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Initiative. We can see you behind our moon, and quite frankly, your cloaking technology is about as sophisticated as a toddler playing peekaboo. Would you like to discuss this like adults, or should we continue pretending we don't know you're there? The bridge fell silent. Admiral Zixvex's tentacles went rigid with shock. This was impossible. Their sensors indicated the humans were at least 50 years away from developing the technology necessary to detect their ships. How? He began, but the human interrupted. Oh, and before you try that little weapon demonstration you're planning. Yes, we know about that too. You might want to check your targeting systems. They seem to be malfunctioning. The weapons officer's display suddenly flickered, and instead of targeting coordinates, it displayed what appeared to be an endless loop of something called a rickroll. Impossible. The weapons officer's crystalline surface cracked with stress. Our systems are being overwritten with what is this primitive audio-visual sequence? Dr. Chen's voice carried a hint of amusement. That's humanity's first line of defense. Weaponized memes. Would you like to see what the second line looks like? No. Then perhaps we should talk about why you're lurking behind our moon like teenagers at a high school dance. Admiral Zixbex felt something he hadn't experienced in his 300 cycles of military service. Uncertainty. The integration protocols never mentioned what to do when the supposedly primitive species mocked your tactical position and compromised your systems with infectious information patterns. You cannot possibly have the technology to. He started. To hack your systems. Dr. Chen finished. Admiral, we've been reverse engineering alien technology since we found that crashed scout ship in Roswell. Did you really think we kept that facility in Nevada running just to study weather balloons? The Admiral's tentacles began to knot themselves, a sign of extreme stress in his species. That's not possible. The scout ship was completely destroyed in the crash. Our records show. Your records show what we wanted them to show. Dr. Chen interrupted again. You see, Admiral, humanity has a rather unique approach to technological advancement. While you were watching our official space programs and measuring our visible technological progress, you missed something crucial about our species. And what would that be? The Admiral asked, dreading the answer. We don't just think outside the box, Admiral. We take the box apart, study its weaknesses, rebuild it into something better, and then use it to store our lunch, while we're inventing something even more interesting. Now, shall we discuss terms of peaceful contact, or would you prefer to see what else we've been working on, while you thought we were just learning to break orbit? The Admiral's tentacles had tied themselves into so many knots that his medical officer was approaching with a sedative. The integration protocols definitely hadn't covered this scenario. As he stared at the view screen, still playing that infernal loop of human audio-visual warfare, he made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. Dr. Chen, he said, trying to maintain some dignity despite his knotted appendages, perhaps we should discuss peaceful diplomatic relations. Wonderful choice, Admiral. And since you're already here, why don't you join me for something we call coffee? I find it helps facilitate productive discussions. Though I should warn you, it's a bit stronger than your standard neural stimulants. As the Admiral agreed to what he thought would be a simple diplomatic meeting, he had no idea that he was about to learn the second most important rule of dealing with humans: never underestimate their beverages. The engineering of revenge. 3 weeks after the first official diplomatic meeting between Earth and the Vexari Empire, Dr. Marcus Wong sat in his underground laboratory at MIT, surrounded by holographic displays showing various alien technologies. He wasn't supposed to have access to these schematics. The Vexari had been very clear about not sharing their advanced technology with humans. But what they didn't understand was that to a human engineer, "Don't touch this" was less a command and more of a dare. "Have you figured out why their quantum drives keep failing?" asked Dr. Yuki Tanaka, his colleague who specialized in theoretical physics. She was perched on a workbench, casually juggling 3 glowing orbs that supposedly defied gravity. Marcus grinned, running a hand through his disheveled hair. "Better. I figured out how to make them fail on purpose." The holographic display shifted to show the internal workings of a Vexari quantum engine. See, they're so focused on efficiency and perfection that they never considered introducing controlled chaos into the system. They think in straight lines. We think in squiggles. And squiggles are better. Yuki raised an eyebrow, catching all 3 orbs in one hand. "Squiggles are human," Marcus replied. "Watch this." He pressed a button, and the simulation showed a Vexari quantum drive receiving what appeared to be a standard maintenance signal. Instead of the usual systematic response, the drive began performing what could only be described as a quantum tap dance. "What did you do?" Yuki leaned forward, her eyes wide with fascination. "Remember that old programming joke about cosmic rays causing random bits to flip? I figured out how to weaponize it. One carefully crafted maintenance signal, and their entire propulsion system starts playing Dancing Queen at the quantum level." "You turned ABBA into a weapon." Yuki couldn't contain her laughter. "The best part is, it's technically not even a weapon. It's just creative engineering. And if the Vexari try to complain about it, they'll have to admit they've been spying on our cultural transmissions for the past 50 years. Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent message from the Earth Defense Initiative. The Vexari, it seemed, had grown tired of humanity's insolent approach to diplomatic relations. They had dispatched their infamous planet Cracker fleet, 50 ships capable of literally breaking a planet apart. "Well," Marcus said, his grin widening, "I guess it's time to test our theory about squiggles versus straight lines on a larger scale." Over the next 72 hours, every engineering lab on Earth worked in concert, but not in the way the Vexari expected. Instead of building conventional defenses or weapons, they created what Dr. Wong would later call weaponized inconvenience. The first sign that something was wrong came when the planet Cracker fleet's navigation systems began rerouting their ships to form giant connect-the-dots pictures in space. The Vexari Admiral was not amused to discover his fearsome armada had been arranged into what Earth's sensors identified as a pretty decent sketch of a rubber duck. But that was just the beginning. Every time the Vexari tried to fire their planet-breaking weapons, their ship's computer systems would instead start streaming Earth entertainment. Their fearsome warships became cosmic broadcasting stations for cat videos, cooking shows, and most devastatingly, reruns of infomercials from the 1990s. But why infomercials? Yuki had asked when Marcus proposed this part of the plan. Because, he explained while coding the transmission protocols, nothing will make an advanced alien civilization question their life choices quite like watching humans struggle with simple tasks in black and white footage. It's psychological warfare and entertainment rolled into one. The final stroke of genius came when the engineering team discovered a way to make the Vexeri ship's quantum drives synchronize with Earth's vast collection of dance music. The sight of 50 planet-killing warships performing an unintentional but perfectly choreographed performance to stay alive would later be considered one of the greatest moments in human military history. "This isn't warfare," the Vexeri admiral had screamed during an emergency transmission. This is engineering," Dr. Wong replied calmly. "Human engineering. We don't just solve problems. We redefine them until they become entertaining." The Planet Cracker fleet retreated 3 days later, not because they were defeated in battle, but because their crews were starting to show signs of addiction to Earth's entertainment channels. Several ships reportedly mutinied when their commanders tried to cut off access to something called reality TV. In the aftermath, Dr. Wong and his team received both a Nobel Prize and a formal complaint from the Galactic Council. The complaint wasn't about their defensive tactics. Those were deemed legal under interstellar law, but rather about the now widespread demand among alien civilizations for access to Earth's entertainment networks. "I don't understand," a Galactic Council representative said during the hearing. "You could have developed super weapons. You could have created planet-destroying technology of your own. Why did you choose this?" Marcus Wong looked at the alien delegation and smiled. "Because super weapons are boring. Anyone can destroy a planet. But making your enemies laugh while they're trying to kill you, that's engineering." The incident led to the creation of a new clause in the Galactic Defense Protocols. "In the event of conflict with humans, be prepared for your weapons to start playing disco music. Resistance is not only futile, it's entertaining." The psychology of war. Dr. Aisha Rahman stood before the Galactic Council's emergency session, her holographic projection towering over the assembled representatives of 200 alien species. As Earth's chief synapsychologist, she had been called to explain humanity's latest incident, though she preferred to call it a successful diplomatic restructuring. "Distinguished representatives," she began, her voice calm and measured, "you've called this session to discuss humanity's response to the hegemony's recent attempt to manipulate Earth's financial markets. I'm here to explain why their strategy was flawed from the start." The hegemony's representative, a towering insectoid being, clicked their mandibles in irritation. "Flawed? We orchestrated the perfect economic assault. We should have brought your planet to its knees." Aisha smiled, the kind of smile that had made several alien species add human facial expressions to their threat assessment protocols. "And therein lies your fundamental misunderstanding of human psychology. You tried to crash our stock market on a Monday." The council chamber erupted in confused murmurs. The hegemony representative's antennae twitched. "What relevance does the Earth Day designation have to economic warfare?" "You see," Aisha explained, pulling up a holographic chart, "humans have a very special relationship with Mondays. We already expect everything to go wrong on Mondays. It's practically a cultural tradition. By launching your attack then, you didn't create chaos. You just gave us something to blame for the usual Monday problems." The chart showed human productivity actually increasing during the attempted economic assault. Below it, social media trends revealed a surge in what humans called memes about the alien attempt to ruin their Monday. Instead of panic, you created something far more dangerous: entertainment. By Tuesday, humans had turned your economic warfare into a game. People were placing bets on which alien algorithm would fail next. Someone turned the pattern of market fluctuations into a song that hit #1 on global charts. The Arcturian delegate raised a glowing appendage. "But what about the psychological impact of financial uncertainty? Our study showed humans place great value on monetary stability." Aisha's smile widened. "Ah, yes. You studied our millennials and Gen Z populations, didn't you? A generation that grew up during multiple economic crises and developed what they called disaster humor as a coping mechanism. You essentially tried to scare people who respond to existential threats by making jokes about them." She pulled up another display, showing social media reactions to the hegemony's attack. The most shared response had been, "Aliens crashed the market. Bold of them to assume we had savings to lose." But the targeted trading algorithms, the hegemony representatives sputtered, their mandibles clicking frantically. "Our AI systems should have been unbeatable." About that, Aisha continued, "Did you know that humans have been training neural networks using memes and cat videos? Your sophisticated AI encountered our trading algorithms, which had been trained on a combination of economic theory and what we call shitposting. Your systems tried to find logical patterns in what was essentially weaponized nonsense." The council chamber displayed the results. The hegemony's AI had suffered what could only be described as a mental breakdown after trying to predict market movements based on something called stonks and a series of social media trends involving pictures of frogs. Within 24 hours, Aisha explained, "Your attack had transformed into what humans call a party. People were organizing viewing events to watch alien algorithms struggle with human meme culture. Someone created a drinking game based on AI confusion. Had been created, all based on alien reaction memes." The Galactic Council's chief administrator, a being of pure energy, pulsed with concern. "Dr. Raman, are you saying that humans turned a sophisticated economic attack into entertainment?" "Not just entertainment," Aisha corrected. "We turned it into profit. Those 3 cryptocurrencies, they're now accepted as legal tender in 12 star systems. The memes generated during the attack have become valuable NFTs. And the drinking game? It's now the most popular party activity in the Orion Arm." She paused, letting her next words carry weight. "But here's the most important lesson. Humans don't just survive chaos. We thrive in it. We don't just adapt to problems. We repackage them and sell them back to the universe as solutions. You tried to weaponize our financial system against us, but you forgot that humans had already turned financial confusion into an art form." The hegemony representative's antennae drooped. "Our attack made humans stronger. Economically, culturally, and psychologically," Aisha confirmed. "Though I should thank you. The research papers coming out of this incident will keep our psychology departments busy for years. We're particularly interested in studying alien reactions to what we call trolling." The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Finally, the chief administrator spoke. "Dr. Raman, what would you recommend as the appropriate response to this situation?" Aisha's expression turned serious. "I suggest adding a new warning to the Galactic Protocol. Never wage psychological warfare against a species that treats existential dread as a form of entertainment. Also, I've brought merchandising contracts for anyone interested in official alien panic reaction NFTs. They're selling quite well." As the council descended into chaos over the merchandising rights, Aisha couldn't help but smile. The hegemony had tried to break humanity's spirit, only to discover that humans had long ago learned to monetize their own psychological resilience. It wasn't just a victory, it was a business opportunity. Economic warfare. Jack Chen, CEO of Terran Innovations Unlimited, stepped onto the stage at the Galactic Economic Summit, his casual Earth attire standing out among the ornate robes and biosuits of the alien delegates. The holoscreen behind him displayed a simple graph that made several alien economists emit distress pheromones. "Ladies, gentlemen, and beings of all configurations," he began, "you're probably wondering how Earth went from being a potential target for economic warfare to controlling 60% of the galactic luxury goods market in just 18 months. The answer is simple. We understood something that none of you did: the true power of branding." The merchant prince of the Zarkax Trading Consortium rose from his hover throne, his crystalline form glittering with indignation. "This is preposterous. Your planet was barely at interstellar trade levels. We had planned to exploit your primitive markets, not become dependent on them." Jack smiled, tapping his presentation remote. The graph shifted to show the explosive growth of Earth's newest export, experiences. See, that was your first mistake. You thought we'd try to compete with your advanced technology or abundant resources. Instead, we sold you something you didn't even know you wanted, the authentic human experience. The display showed images of alien tourists lined up outside Earth's most mundane locations, coffee shops, vintage arcade games, and something labeled Bob's Garage Sale Emporium. When your economic warfare failed, we noticed something interesting. Your spies, who were supposed to be gathering intelligence, had become addicted to what we call everyday life. They weren't just studying us anymore. They were leaving 5-star reviews on Intergalactic Yelp. The Merchant Prince's crystalline surface cracked slightly, but they were supposed to be destabilizing your economy. Instead, they became our best customers, Jack continued. Did you know that there's now a 6-month waiting list for aliens wanting to experience a typical Earth Monday morning rush hour in person? We're charging premium rates for something we used to complain about. He switched to another slide showing various Earth products that had become inexplicably popular across the galaxy. Instant noodles, vintage video games, and something labeled mystery flavor experiences. We didn't just sell products, we sold stories. Every piece of Earth merchandise comes with what we call cultural context. That dented coffee mug. It's not just a container. It's a genuine artifact of human perseverance through caffeine dependency. That old Nokia phone. It's marketed as indestructible human communication technology that survived the pre-space age. The head of the Galactic Trade Federation, a being of pure economic energy, pulsed with confusion. But these items are primitive, inefficient. Why do our citizens desire them? Jack's grin widened. Because they're authentic. In a galaxy of perfect replication and quantum manufacturing, we're selling something unique, imperfection. Humanity's greatest export isn't our technology or our resources. It's our ability to make anything, even our flaws, marketable. He pulled up another chart showing the profit margins on what Earth called artisanal products. Several alien economists had to be sedated. You tried to crash our markets, so we turned market crashes into tourist attractions. Your species can now book guided tours of historic financial districts where human traders once panicked. We've got virtual reality experiences that let you feel what it's like to lose your life savings in a bubble burst. We even sell commemorative t-shirts. The Merchant Prince's hover throne descended as his crystalline form dulled with defeat. You're telling me that humans took economic warfare and turned it into a theme park. Better, Jack corrected. We turned it into a franchise. We're opening Wall Street experience centers in every major spaceport. Aliens can now trade primitive Earth stocks using actual paper certificates. We're calling it vintage financial entertainment. He switched to the final slide, showing Earth's current economic projections. But here's the real genius. Everything we sell comes with an expiration date, not because the products go bad, but because we keep inventing new trends. By the time you figure out why humans are obsessed with one thing, we've already moved on to the next inexplicable fad. The Trade Federation representative's energy form flickered. This defies all economic logic. You can't build a stable economy on chaos, Jack suggested. Randomness. The inexplicable human ability to make anything trendy. Watch us. We've already got a waiting list for next season's artificial scarcity luxury items. They're exactly the same as regular items, but we're making fewer of them and charging more. And yes, we're selling courses on how we do it. As the summit devolved into a bidding war for Earth's latest export rights, Jack checked his ancient mechanical watch. Another luxury item now worth more than some small asteroids. The ultimate irony wasn't lost on him. Aliens had tried to weaponize Earth's economy, only to become hopelessly addicted to human economic irrationality. The Galactic Economic Council would later add a new warning to their protocols. In matters of trade with humans, the only predictable element is their unpredictability. Also, never ask why they value things. It only makes the prices go up. The new Galactic Order. Ambassador Elena Rodriguez stood at the center of the Galactic Council's Grand Chamber, her simple diplomatic uniform a stark contrast to the elaborate technological displays surrounding her. 5 years had passed since humanity's first contact with the Vexari Empire, and today marked the final ratification of what the galaxy now called the Human Protocols. Distinguished representatives of the galaxy, she began, her voice carrying across the chamber without technological enhancement, another human quirk that still puzzled many species. We're here to formally acknowledge what many of you have already learned the hard way. Humanity cannot be handled using standard galactic procedures. The chamber's holographic displays showed scenes from the past 5 years, the Vexari fleet dancing to disco, the hegemony's AI having an existential crisis over memes, and the now famous Great Coffee Incident that had turned half the Orion arm into caffeine addicts. When we entered galactic society, Elena continued, you tried to classify us. Some said we were too primitive. Others claimed we were too aggressive. A few suggested we were simply too weird. You were all right, and all completely wrong. The High Chancellor of the Council, a beam of pure thought, manifested a questioning pattern. How can you be both primitive and advanced, aggressive and creative, chaotic and methodical? Elena smiled, that distinctly human expression that had become both feared and admired across space. Because we're human, we put quantum computers in devices we still call phones. We solved faster than light travel, because someone wanted their pizza delivery to arrive faster. We turned your economic warfare into a tourist attraction, and your military threats into entertainment franchises. She gestured to the new additions to the council chamber. A coffee bar staffed by former Vexari warriors, a gift shop selling I Survived Human Innovation merchandise, and a surprisingly popular Earth Monday simulator, where alien diplomats could experience what they called beautifully organized chaos. But here's what really changes everything, Elena continued. We didn't just survive your attempts to control us. We made you love how we do things. Your species now binge-watch our entertainment, collect our primitive artifacts, and pay premium prices for what we call authentic human experiences. The display showed the latest galactic trends: alien teenagers wearing Earth vintage clothing, prestigious universities offering courses in human unpredictability studies, and luxury cruises promising the real Earth experience. Traffic jams included. The human protocols aren't just rules for dealing with us, Elena explained. They're an admission that the galaxy is more interesting with human chaos in it. We're not just part of galactic society. We're the spice that makes it exciting. The Trade Federation representative's energy form pulsed with reluctant agreement. The numbers are undeniable. Sectors with human influence show a 300% increase in innovation, a 500% rise in entertainment consumption, and an unprecedented surge in what humans call fun. Exactly, Elena nodded. You tried to make us fit into your orderly galaxy. Instead, we taught the galaxy to embrace a little disorder. Your civilizations had perfected efficiency. We showed you the value of imperfection. You sought to eliminate uncertainty. We turned it into an art form. She pulled up the final section of the Human Protocols, which had become the most cited document in galactic history. Rule number 1. Humans will never respond the way you expect. Rule number 2. This is not a bug. It's a feature. But the most important change, Elena continued, isn't listed in any protocol. It's the way you've all started to think differently. Your architects now deliberately include imperfections in their designs because they're more human. Your scientists have started asking, what if instead of just what is? Your philosophers are debating whether chaos can be quantified, and if not, whether that's actually better. The chamber erupted in discussion, hundreds of species simultaneously trying to express how humanity had changed their perspective. Some complained, others celebrated, but none could deny the transformation. We're not here to rule the galaxy, Elena concluded. We're here to remind you that the universe is vast, weird, and wonderful. You can try to regulate it, categorize it, and control it, or you can learn to dance with the chaos. And if there's one thing humans know how to do, it's dance. As if on cue, the chamber's gravity regulators hiccuped, a completely unexpected malfunction that engineering teams would later blame on human influence. For just a moment, everyone floated free, and in that instant of shared surprise and delight, they understood what humanity had been trying to teach them all along. Sometimes the best moments in life are the ones you couldn't possibly plan for. The human protocols were ratified unanimously, though several species insisted on adding a footnote. Warning: exposure to humans may result in unexpected joy, chronic innovation, and a persistent desire to make the universe more interesting. Side effects include spontaneous laughter, increased creativity, and the inexplicable urge to try things just to see what happens. These effects are permanent and highly contagious, and we wouldn't have it any other way.